Look.
Today's video sponsor is GVG Mall, bringing you all the software deals you need, like Windows 10, Windows 11, Office 2021 with a new Windows 11 design, and even Windows Server 2022. For all of these, you can use my SKG discount code for 25% off, getting a Windows 10 serial key for only $16. Then use the key on your Windows settings and you'll have an activated system. Hello guys, Asian Gameplays, I'm Fabio Pisco and welcome to my channel. And what a good day that we have today. To stay in the shadow, of course, because if you stay in the sun, you'll just melt right away. But in the shadow, it's quite cool actually. And before starting the Adrenalin 23.5.1 driver review, I just want to tell you that when I was looking at the driver release notes, I was looking into the highlights and I saw absolutely no support for the RX 7600 on the newest drivers, and I thought, well, if the newest drivers are released mostly for the 7600, why isn't the 7600 on the highlights? And that is because the RX 7600 has a special 23.5.1 driver that is actually different from the normal 23.5.1 driver, or at least slightly different, and it makes no sense. That just leads us to one more time to the point that AMD RADEON 3 needs a lot of driver updates, and it will only perform as it should, maybe never, or maybe let's say in a year or something, because it was released sooner than it should, and that's why even the RX 7600 at the release needs a different driver, a specific driver from the other cards, because once again it is a different card. And I mean, I believe that the card will perform better within some months with some better drivers, but I mean, RADEON 3 is kind of a mess right now, and we can see that by the amount of drivers that they released only for the 7900 series when they were released, and now specific drivers for the 7600 as well. Yay! And I know that because some months ago I actually spoke with an ex-AMD engineer, and he actually told me that because of how RADEON 3 was built, that they needed way more driver updates, that they needed more driver specifications for specific things. So for specific games, it would be way harder on the drivers team because of how RADEON 3 was produced, how RADEON 3 was made. So in terms of shaders and so on, AMD would need to kind of make those drivers specific for certain game on RADEON 3. Basically what he told me was that the cards would need way more drivers, way more driver updates, way more driver coding for them to work as they were intended, okay? That's basically it. And sorry for this long intro, but I actually had to tell you this because I felt like this was important. Now let's go to the 23.5.1 Adrenalin drivers review, and as I say in all my videos, 23 is the year 2023, 5 is the month May, and 1 is the revision on that same month, so the first revision of May. And with this all being said, let's go to the release notes of the overall drivers, and then go to the 7600 ones. As for the highlights, we have support for the Lord of the Rings Golem, up to 16% increase in performance in Lord of the Rings Golem, 4K using the AMD Software Adrenalin Edition 23.5.1 on the 7900 series versus the 23.4.3, and up to 12% performance once again in Lord of the Rings Golem, 4K blah blah blah, but now using the 6000 series versus the 23.4.3. As for the fixed issues, we have some important ones actually, with the first one being application crash or driver timeout may be observed during video playback using DaVinci Resolve Studios, and this is very important for people actually using DaVinci Resolve because their playback will finally be working properly as it should from the beginning. But I mean, with these drivers at least the issue is fixed. You can use the newer drivers without having that issue. As for the second one, it is brief display corruption may occur when switching between video and game windows on some AMD graphics products such such as the Radeon RX 6700 XT. And some people were actually complaining a lot about this issue of the display corruption when switching between video and game windows, especially on the 6700 XT, and seems that it is fixed now finally. So if it is fixed for you with your 7600 XT or any other card, leave a comment in the comment section telling me if it was fixed or not, because as always, I really want to know. Higher than expected memory usage during shader compilation time when first launching The Last of Us Part 1, and this was a problem that I've seen before as well, because I was having like 30 gigabytes of RAM usage when compiling the shaders, and that is now much better. It is now much better in terms of CPU usage, RAM usage, VRAM usage. The game is as it should be from the beginning, and that's quite fine, at least now. And the last one is intermittent system crash while playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 on some AMD graphics products such as the Radeon RX 580, so meaning that the older 580 users can actually use Modern Warfare 2 properly now without having that application crash, that system crash, and it was because of the drivers, as AMD acknowledges now. And well, as for the known issues, we still have some annoying ones. As usual, high idle power has situationally been observed when using high resolution and high refresh rate display panels on the RX 7000 series GPUs, and I'm kind of distracted because my animals are kind of running here and so on, and it is distracting. But as you see, the high idle power is still an issue, not for everyone, but it's definitely still an issue for some people, not for most people. But for some people it is definitely an issue. Most people running multi-displays like 2 or 3, they'll have high idle power. People running TVs mostly via HDMI will have this issue, and so on, so on, so on. It's annoying. Video stuttering or performance drops may be observed during gameplay and video playback with some extended display configurations on the Radeon 7000 series GPUs. Once again, video stuttering or performance drops, this issue comes again. Once again, for some people, not for all, but comes again and should be fixed ASAP. So meaning people having, let's say, dual displays and they're watching some video, reproducing some video playback in one monitor and playing in another, well, they can have, not that they will have, but they can have stutters, and that should not happen. It was fixed for the 6000 series and it should be fixed for the 7000 series as well ASAP. Some virtual reality games or applications may experience lower than expected performance on the Radeon RX 7000 series GPUs. Once again, the same issue with VR. I don't really know what's the matter with VR and why it is performing so bad. I don't really know, but it may have something to do with the lack of hardware-accelerated GPU scheduling, something that was actually introduced in this driver that you can see, where on the Windows updated driver we do have the hardware-accelerated GPU scheduling, but we don't have it on the 23.5.1 drivers. By the way, I was just rewatching my comments, and according to one of the users, it seems that the hardware-accelerated GPU scheduling was presented in the UWP drivers before, okay? And it seems that one of the reasons why it isn't presented on the AMD official drivers per se, it's because AMD is waiting for Microsoft to fix the hardware-accelerated GPU scheduling. It is supposed to be fixed on the newer inside build of the Windows 11 that will be released in some time. So I suppose when that build is released to the general public, it might also be released in the official drivers per se, because the Windows drivers are also official but slightly different, okay? Let's continue. And the last one is application crash may be intermittently observed while playing RuneScape on some AMD graphics products such as the Radeon RX 5700 XT. And basically this is what it is. And remember that I told you that we had a special driver, a specific driver for the RX 7600? Well, here it is. With the highlights being support for Radeon RX 7600 series graphics, finally, with the known issues being certain virtual reality games or applications may encounter suboptimal performance or occasional stuttering. Once again, even on the lower end, this is not an issue just with the MCM, so the multi-chip module RDNA 3 GPUs like the 7900 series. It seems that even on monolithic dies like the 7600, it seems that the VR performance is still poor, and it has something to do with driver optimization on RDNA 3. I am sure of that. They need to fix this ASAP, because if you are a VR player, there's no other option than NVIDIA right now. That's the truth. And the second known issue is intermittent application crash or light corruption may occur when using Blender. And once again, if you're using Blender, this card is not for you, at least on the launch day. And well guys, it is basically what it is. Let me just catch this notebook with some good and bad things that I found. Basically the good things are the fixes on the overall drivers, because you have the DaVinci Resolve fixes, you have more fixes that aren't showing on the fixed issues, I'm sure, because that happens all the time. Overall the performance is the same, or more or less the same. I tested with the 7900 XTX and the 6650 XT. I already bought the 7600 non-XT myself, of course, and it will be here tomorrow, I believe. And I even sent AMD an email because I wanted to know if there was actually any reason that I wouldn't get the GPUs before they were launched, because I see many reviewers getting them, and I believe that on the AMD spectrum, on the AMD side of things, I am one of the best in that scenario. I do lots of stuff, I experience lots of stuff, because that's what I like to do, and it would be really nice if they actually could send the GPUs before they were released, in order for me to have the results on the release day as well. But well, I guess we can't have it all. As for the bad things, custom resolution utility is still not working, and this is an AMD issue on the RDNA 3 GPUs, on the RX 7000 series, because they don't have files for the editing, so CRU, custom resolution utility, can't actually create new resolutions and so on, and you have to use the AMD RADEON utility, but it is not as good because you can't actually change the FreeSync range, for example, things that you can do in the custom resolution utility. It's just annoying that AMD is actually going back in this scenario instead of going further. I don't really know why the fuck they're doing this, but I guess it is what it is. Maybe it has to do with their new display engine, and they just need to find out how to work it properly. Maybe. And well guys, that's all for today's video. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video if this video helped you in some way. Leave your comment in the comment section and let me know your experience with these drivers, if they are better than the previous ones, if they are actually worse for you than the previous ones. For me, for my 7900 XT, some of the best drivers are the 23.3.2 and the 23.4.2. These drivers aren't better or worse for me, they're equal on the 7900 XTX, and they're also equal to the 23.4.2, yes, on the 6650 XT, more or less. Also, new chipset drivers have been released on the AMD side, so if you want to go there and update them, okay? Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video, and let's go finally to the side-by-side comparisons. See you in the next one.